So earlier this week, pretty early in the morning, I got a call from Apple. Um, I knew it was a call from Apple because I've received a call from Apple exactly one other time, although I actually knew it was coming that time. And your phone comes up with just Apple as the caller ID. So I was
Wow.
like, that's interesting.
How do you
So
do that?
I pick it up and I wanted to, I was very interested in what this was about. We've complained about Apple a lot publicly to do with our iOS app, so I assumed it had something to do with that, and it did. My customer service agent told me not long before this that he had dealt with a very interesting ticket where someone had CC'd Tim Cook, and, and I just kind of laughed and was like, oh, okay, whatever. And we moved on. I'm sure this person also did other things other than just CCing Tim Cook because they said they were going to try to contact people. And what they were trying to do was actually help us. They were trying to contact people at Apple to try to push them to allow us to take third-party payments through the app.
Okay.
What the customer service agent said, which is now much more relevant due to the stuff that has literally happened since we sat down to do this show.
Yes.
Give me 1 second to find it.
I'm feeling very apprehensive right now, Luke. I would like this story to continue in an expedient manner.
Okay. It's okay. Everything's okay is the final answer.
Thank
if
you.
that helps. Everything ends up being fine.
That's very good to know.
So customer service agent guy says something that is okay. Where is it? We also can't collect payments on iOS due to lack of support for third-party payment solutions, Stripe and PayPal, which is a little wacky, and I've already talked to him about it. Whatever. The problem is and it was a pretty confusing phone call in a few ways. If we do Apple Pay, they take 30%. If we do in-app payments, which is different than Apple Pay, they take 30%. We can apply for a small business thing. We've talked about this on WAN Show before, actually.
Like
we
the
talked
small
about it
developer thing where
it's
less as long as you're under $1 million revenue.
Yes. So you have to apply for it. We would probably get in, but they take 15% unless you break that $1 million revenue mark, and then it goes up to 30. And our problem with that is our margins are actually pretty thin. If they're taking 30% on I believe, I don't remember how I did the math. I don't remember if it was for a $3 subscription or a $5 subscription, but at one of those two marks, because our costs are fixed, the creators just make whatever on top of our costs that they charge. But there's no margin left, essentially. At 30%, there's no margin left. So if we somehow broke that $1 million revenue threshold, we would immediately just make nothing off of all the Apple stuff. So it's not really an option for us. Joining the small business thing doesn't save us because once we break past that threshold, we're potentially screwed. I did ask, and they didn't know right off the top of their head, and I didn't expect them to because they weren't a master of this section of it. But the person that I was talking to on the phone wasn't sure if the 30% applied to only payments that were past the 1 million, like taxes, or if it was all payments. But either way, it doesn't work for us, so we can't do that. But we talked about a bunch of stuff on the phone because we talked about how we've had a lot of problems with the app in the past, with them trying to use our login for other things, with them denying our app for 6 months through a variety of different versions for no reason. And I talked about how like a lot of these different problems, we don't know if they're actually problems or not. People in the public have told us that we're allowed to do certain things with iOS apps. We have then tried to do them, and we have had our app denied for them. We have done the exact same thing that other large apps on the iOS store have done to try to get around it that way, and they have denied our app. At one point in time, we took to the exact error text from Netflix to just, like, we know this is a massive app. Let's just do it the exact same way they do it. And we got denied because it wasn't allowed. Like I went through all that kind of stuff, and they were good. The person on the phone was very reasonable, very understanding. It was a good phone call. But I was airing a lot of grievances, and they were good at dealing with it. But one of the things that they said was multiple times was that the app in its current state is fine. And I was like, yeah, I know, because it like just got approved. But like, I'm not really happy with where it's at because we can't communicate to people. The whole problem where this was rooted in, the person's problem that they had, was they weren't a subscriber on Floatplane yet. They installed the app on iOS, and then the warning was confusing to them because we can't tell them to go to floatplane.com to subscribe. We're not allowed. So we're still not allowed to do that. So we can't resolve the core problem. They want us to enable in-app purchases, but there's the whole 30% thing, so we can't really do that. So we're kind of just stuck where we were, but I hopefully have a better understanding of the rules now, which is good. Except while we were on the show, we got an email. And again, multiple times they said the app in its current state is fine. While we were on the show, I got an email saying your app, Floatplane, does not follow the App Store review guidelines. Your Floatplane app, Apple ID, blah, 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 does not follow one or more of the App Store review guidelines. For more details or contact App Store Review, visit the Resolution Center. And I was like, oh my goodness, this happened literally during the show. So while you were sitting there talking about a different topic, I bring up the Resolution Center to figure out like what's wrong with our app. And it's a nicely written email from the person I was on the phone with, following up with a few like references and documentation that I wanted so that I could better understand a few things. But they sent it through the Resolution Center, so our app is now flagged. It's nice. They're a nice person. It's a well written. Thank you for your time on the phone today. Blah blah blah. As discussed, here's a bunch of different links for a variety of different things that'll help me in the future. It's nice. I wanted this. I wanted it as an email. I did not want it as a Resolution Center, like your app is now flagged as not following guidelines thing. I think our app is still up on the store. Oh, wow. My camera just fell.
Oh, welcome back.
I caught it. Hold on.
Oh, Luke. I had nothing to do with that. I wasn't there. That was not my fault. I dropped nothing.
Wow. Whew. That was actually really close. It would have, if it actually falls from where it is, it'll whack its lens on the mount of my monitor. So that would be bad. But anyways, I don't know what to do at this point, guys. We released an update recently for iOS, so notifications work properly through iOS now.
Yeah.
Which is cool. They approved it actually very quickly. It hit the store very quickly. We haven't had issues since the last time we complained about it. I think the app is still up on the store. I'm going to have to send in an appeal for this informational letter that was sent in to make sure that flag gets removed. Because right now, if I go to like my admin panel for the iOS store, it has a big warning thing that says there are one or more issues with following platforms, one unresolved iOS issue. It's probably fine, but this is just like, oh man, it's such a mess.
Yeah, it's painful.
And people that use in-app payments have to pay 30% for this trash heap. And like, to be clear, it's a problem on both sides. Android is having tons of issues recently as well. These app stores are just horrid. Oh, I guess luckily I didn't mind the conversation. So hopefully we can have another one and get it resolved.